I always say European Union is a step in the right direction, but it is not a perfect model. Let me give you three big disadvantages or shortcomings of a European Union model. 1. It emphasizes too much on centralization of power. 2. It emphasizes too much on uniformity. And 3. It de-emphasizes too much the importance of community and cultural protection. Now let me explain this in detail. First, theory of social contract. Let me expand that and make it theory of community contract. What is social contract? Elected representatives and the people electing them, there's a contract between them which gives the elected representatives the power of the community to govern them. Community contract is where different communities come together in a contractual relationship so that they can live harmoniously together. Now, think of human body as an example. We have different organ systems which work independently of each other. I'll come to central nervous system in a second. But heart has literally got nothing to do with stomach, and stomach has literally got nothing to do with lungs. But our body has a common circulatory or defense system. If you go to my model of future world, the first thing I said was we need to combine our militaries absolutely, which is basically combining having a common defense system, just like a human body. And then I also said, in such a situation, that military will become really powerful. In order to protect our democracy and avoid military coups, we'll have to break up military command into many smaller commands. Now think of a central nervous system. It's called central nervous system because it controls the whole body, but it is not just made up of one part. There's brain, and then there's a spinal cord which extend all through our neck, through our torso, all through the length of our body. So even though it's a central nervous system, it is not just located centrally at one place in the body. It is spread out in the body. That's what I mean by spreading the power. How it translates to democracy. Minorities do not have a voice in democracy. I've said that elsewhere. Now, think of this at the European Union level. You have a European Union Parliament which decides what law change they want in all the communities. And then the individual parliaments bring about that law change. Minorities that didn't have a voice at the level of their own communities, they further lose their voice at the level of a European Union, because at the level of a European Union, even if one or two individual states did not agree to a law change because of the democratic structure, they'll have to follow that law change if it is passed by the European Union Parliament. Minorities have further lost their voice, and you have actually brought about a law change which some communities were not ready for. No law change should be imposed on a community before an atmosphere has been created in that community for that law change to happen. Otherwise, you are forcing law change on an unwilling community, and you are denying that community its democratic rights to have a voice, which is what decentralization of power means. Rather than having a central parliament deciding everything at a huge land mass made up of different communities, you need different communities coming together, and only when all communities are ready for a change, that they agree in a particular way that this is how we all accept this change to be, that's when that change should be uniformly applied. Otherwise, if communities do not agree absolutely at a minimum level, that change should not be brought about, at least not at the entire union level. The biggest shortcoming with the European Union is it forces change on everybody, whether everybody is ready for it or not. This is closely tied to the uniformity that I talked about. Uniformity means uniformity of law everywhere, but everybody is not the same. Every community is not the same. Uniformity is very boring. Diversity is what is really important. Think of agriculture. The more diversified crops you sow, the better you sustain your soil and more benefit you derive out of that soil. Diversity is the real powerful ingredient in the development. If you have uniformity and something goes wrong, then it goes wrong every way. If you have diversity, if something goes wrong some way, then somewhere, some other place can offer a solution. That is the power of diversity. Diversity will always give you diverse ideas, and better ideas will emerge, which will improve everybody, while uniformity will lead to stagnation. Uniformity is never recommended. I always say every culture is important. You need to protect and promote every culture, which leads directly to the third point, which I say that there is too much de-emphasis on protection of communities and economies. Now, having no protection, what does that mean? That only means that the bigger fish can spread over the entire pond. But by quantization and making sure that there are certain restrictions, you give opportunity to the smaller fish to flourish. And think of the culture. If there's too much mixing of culture, then the culture will become uniform and the essence of culture will be lost. The life will become boring, the life will become colorless, monochrome, which is not what humanity would itself like in the long run. Which culture is bad? Which cultures do you want to kill? Which culture is ready to be killed? If the answer is no, then every culture needs protection. Then straight away, you can't say that there cannot be protectionism. You cannot have just open borders that everybody goes in and it becomes a thoroughfare for everyone. No, you need a closure. As Walzer says, we need closure. We do need closure. In my video for in future model of world, I said that I'll suggest minimum 10% economic cooperation. You can have more economic cooperation if you absolutely need it. But I don't recommend more than 10% because 10% is enough to learn things from other people and let others enjoy your culture as well. You don't want anything more than that. You can have free borders as far as tourism is concerned, but economic cooperation and 10% should be enough, unless you are a nation like Qatar, which needs majority of its workforce from overseas. And the thing about cultures, as I said, is you need that variety to flourish. That gives the color to nations. So, and thinking of economy, the bigger fish, you need protection so that the smaller guy can flourish. Why do you want to bring in feudalism back? I always say that European scholarship wrote itself out of feudalism, and now you're writing yourself back into feudalism. This is New World feudalism, where fiefdoms would be replaced by multinational corporations. Why do you want that? Why do you don't like freedom? You went around world teaching everybody what freedom is. Now you don't like freedom yourself. Protections are there because they keep the playing field level, and moreover, if you will not protect local economy, what use is your model for the local economy if local business is going to be destroyed because there is no protection from outside business? What worth is your model? Why should anyone join your model? This is one of the biggest drawbacks that I find. But anyway, there are more shortcomings that can be thought about and discussed, and many more solutions which might be available than what might I have hinted. So think people think.